Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of the newest additions to my stack, and I will be telling you about the individual pieces. And there's kind of an interesting eclectic selection today. As you can see, I've got some fractional silver pieces here, and those are still in the packaging, and I'm going to tell you why that is. I've got a couple of American Silver Eagles here, and the American Silver Eagles are actually being redesigned this year. So I've got one of the old design and one of the new design, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of the improvements they've made to the coin and some of the new features. And then also I've got good old classic generic 10-ounce bar, and I'll tell you a little bit about this specific bar and how I got this, and also I'll go a little bit into the different types of silver bullion bars that are available. So stick around. If you guys like stacking silver and you like silver bullion, I think you're going to enjoy this video. Let's get to it. First up, let's talk about the American Silver Eagle and the redesign that's going on this year. So as you can see, I've got the old design here in my left hand and the new design here in my right. 2021 is the 35th anniversary of the American Silver Eagle program. It started in 1986. This is the design of the coin that they've been making for 35 years. Now, they decided to redesign it in honor of the 35th anniversary. So in 2021, they're actually producing both types of the coin. The old design was minted at the beginning of the year, and then the new design is being minted now in the second half of the year. So these just became available. And they've made some updates to the design. Clearly on the back, it's a completely different design. We have the crest and the sort of stylized eagle on the old one. And the new one has this really cool eagle in flight. It's as if it's landing in a nest. It's got its wings out wide to slow itself down as it lands in the nest, and it's clutching a branch. And it's a much more kind of photorealistic design of an eagle. And I really like it. The old design, there's nothing wrong with it, but this eagle is really cool. I mean, it looks much more like an eagle actually looks. It's got a little bit more of a natural appeal to it, and I think the eagle in flight is a pretty majestic and cool image. So I'm very happy with the redesign. Now, they've made some improvements to the coin as well. It's not just the redesign of the reverse here. On the obverse, it's pretty neat. They were actually able to go back and rescan the original large dies of the Walking Liberty, because this design, of course, the Walking Liberty, goes all the way back to the Walking Liberty half dollar. And as you can see, this is basically the same Lady Liberty in a walking pose. My half dollar here is a little bit worn compared to these brand new American Silver Eagles. But one of the things that they've done with the redesign is they've taken the original large dies that were designed by Adolf Weinman, and they used new high-tech scanners to recapture this image. And the idea is that the new American Silver Eagle obverse is actually closer to Weinman's original design than what they had been making. And if you look at the coins side by side, here is the old design and here's the new one. You can see that there are some slight differences in detail, and I'll try to catch the light so you guys can kind of see those. First of all, the 2021 font is different. You can see they changed that and they made it more like the original font that Weinman intended. And then also, there's a new mark. If you look under the "In God We Trust" here on the new design, you can see there's that little symbol that's an AW, and that's actually Adolf Weinman's signature mark that he would put on his coins. It's just his initials. So that has been added. And also, if you take a look, there's a new security feature, and this is called an Anti-Counterfeit Reeded Edge Variation. And if you look just under the 0 on the new coin, on the reed, there's actually a missing reed, and that is not the case on the old design. So that's a new added security feature. And of course, you know, this isn't foolproof, but it's just one more feature that they've added to the coin to make it difficult to counterfeit. So overall, I think that the new coin is nothing but an improvement. They did a really good job redesigning this coin, and I'm happy to have picked up 2 of these to kind of commemorate the redesign. Now, I haven't been stacking a lot of American Silver Eagles lately because of just the incredibly high premiums, but I thought that since this year was fairly significant in the sense that they're redesigning the coin, I would go ahead and pick up just one of each, since this is the only year that they're actually going to mint the old design and the new design in 1 year. So kind of a significant thing for us stackers and coin collectors. And that's why I went ahead and picked up just one of each. I still don't want to pay, the 30-40% markup for a whole tube or anything like that. But it is kind of cool to have one of each coin to add into your stack. Now, the next thing that I added to my stack is some of this fractional silver bullion. And this is a 1 gram Valcambi bar. This is 3/9 fine silver. And as you can see, that is a really, really tiny little piece of silver there. I don't think there's too much practical purpose for this type of silver, but I needed some for a video that I have in the works. I'm actually going to be doing a video about fractional silver and about the best silver for bartering after SHTF. And I realized when I was getting ready to make that video that I didn't actually own any fractional silver, and I kind of wanted some to feature in that video. So I went ahead and picked up a few pieces, and I don't really recommend fractional silver like this 5 gram bar as an investment necessarily, because the premiums are extremely high. But all of us stackers, I think we have a little bit of the collector in us, and when I realized I didn't have a single piece of fractional silver like this, I wanted to go ahead and just get a couple pieces to kind of see what they were all about. So I got a few things like this 1/10 ounce, and honestly this thing seems pretty similar to a dime to me. And my thinking is that dimes probably are a much better form of fractional silver, your 90% mercury dimes and Roosevelt dimes and Barber dimes. But these are pretty cool, just tiny little pieces of silver like this. I've got this 1/2 ounce nugget from the YPS Mint, and this thing is pretty cool. It's a 1/2 ounce poured nugget. And again, the premiums on these are real high. You're paying much higher than the actual spot price for your silver, but they're kind of neat pieces. And typically I keep pretty good control over that collector part of me that wants to pick stuff like this up, even though I know it's not a good investment, because, I generally want to get the most silver for my money and the most weight of metal for my money. But every now and then, if I can come up with something like a video as a justification to pick up some neat silver, I will do that. And I think all of us stackers have a little bit of that collector in us, and I try to keep that pretty tempered, but it doesn't hurt every now and then to pick up some pieces that you think are just cool for their own sake, like this 5 gram bar, which I think is pretty neat. I've talked about that in the past, how copper bullion is, like this 2 kilo bar here, is really a terrible deal. You're paying way over the spot price of copper for something like this, but I needed this specific bar for a video where I was testing magnets. Now, maybe my brain came up with that idea for the video just so I could have a justification to pick up a copper bar like this. I'm not sure. But every now and then I will pick up some stuff just because I think it's cool and not because it's necessarily the best investment in metal or I'm getting the best deal on the bullion. I told you I'm keeping this stuff in the packaging from APMEX. They've got it packaged up real nicely with little labels on everything. And I probably will take it out for that video I have coming up. And if you guys want to see that video where I talk a little bit more about fractional bullion in detail, make sure you click that subscribe button, because I'll have that coming out in the next couple days. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and click that like button for this video too. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. But I just kept this stuff all packed up in its packaging because honestly it's so small, especially things like this little 1 gram bar. I'm afraid if I take it out I might lose it, or it'll just it'll get lost in the sauce, so to speak, and I'll have to collect it all again when it's time to do that video, because I mean this thing is just so tiny. I'm just going to leave everything in their slips. Now the next thing I added to my stack, and this is the last piece of bullion I'll be showing you guys today, but this is this 10 ounce generic bar. And I had a couple $100 and I wanted to buy some silver. I wasn't sure what to get, and I really just wanted to get the most silver for my money. So I went on ST Bullion and they had generic 10 ounce bars. It was secondary market silver bars, so a bar of their choice. And so I went ahead and picked one of those up because it was the lowest premium silver bar they had. And honestly, it's kind of fun too, because you never know what you're going to get when you open up that package when you order something like that. So it's a little bit of a surprise. And I was not disappointed by this Silver Eagle bar. Very cool bar. I like it a lot. It's got an eagle stamped on it. 10 ounces, 10 troy ounces of fine silver, 0.9999. So 4 nines fine. So it had that extra little run through the refiner to make it 4 nines purity. And this bar, I mean, is pretty much as generic as they come. It doesn't even have the mint stamped on it. So I had to do a little bit of research to figure out where this thing came from, because, I wanted to find out what kind of bar I was holding. And to the best of my ability, I was able to determine that this bar came from CNT Mint, and they make generic Silver Eagle bars like this with identical stamping. So I'm pretty sure that this is from them, although it's possible that it's from another mint that just makes a similar product, because, you know, these eagles, they're very common on generic bullion. You know, there's a couple of designs that you see on a lot of generic stuff. One is the buffalo. The other one is the Morgan dollar design. You see that stamped on a lot of bars and rounds. And then the eagle is another very popular design for generic bullion. But I'm pretty sure these come from CNT Bullion. And this is a cast silver bar. Now, I wasn't really aware of the difference between a cast and a poured silver bar. But in researching this specific bar, I did find that there is a difference. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. So these cast bars are basically silver that is poured into a closed mold. And you can even see there are some imperfections here on the back of the bar. And that's probably where some bubbles form during the pouring. But these are made in a closed mold. And these are pretty much the cheapest form of generic silver bars to produce, as opposed to something like this poured bar. And this is also poured into a mold, but the difference with a poured bar like this is that the mold is open. So you get a little bit of a different shape. You can see the sides are very smooth here, but the top sort of has its own unique character because that side was just open to the air while it was cooling. And then both bars simply have the metal content and the purity, and in this case it has the name of the mint, not so much in this one, just an eagle symbol, and this one's got the lion symbol from the Scottsdale Mint, but they just stamp that into both bars. But as a general rule, cast bars like this are a little bit cheaper to produce, and they're also going to carry a little bit lower premium for collectors. As a general rule, if you have two identical bars, one cast bar like this and one poured bar like this, you're going to pay a little bit more for the poured bar. But this was a great piece of silver to pick up. You know, I like these generic silver bars. You can just handle them. It doesn't matter. They have these little imperfections on the back. The only thing that I did check with this one was the weight. I did want to make sure that it got my full 10 troy ounces of silver, and as you can see there, it's even just slightly over 10 troy ounces, so very happy with that. Now, I normally don't weigh every piece of silver that I obtain, but when I buy something on the secondary market, I do like to just do kind of a cursory check, at least to make sure that it meets all of the criteria for what I purchase, because while I'm sure SD Bullion does a very good job of assaying all of its secondary market products, I doubt very much that they're letting any counterfeits slip through, but I just like to do a little bit of due diligence on my own when I know I'm buying something from the secondary market. You know, when I buy an American Silver Eagle like this, I know that this is coming straight from the mint. It's not a random year or a secondary market coin. It's just brand new from the mint 2021. So I'm not worried about the authenticity of this at all. But, you know, a generic silver bar like this from the secondary market, who knows what its story is, who knows what hands it's passed through. But usually a quick visual inspection and a weighing is enough to satisfy me when I get it from a reputable dealer. So anyway, guys, those are the new additions to my silver stack. I am still stacking, and I feel like the prices that we have in precious metals at the moment really are a gift and an opportunity to add more physical silver bullion to our stacks. Let me know what you guys are doing in the comments below. What kind of bullion have you added to your stack lately? What do you think of the American Silver Eagle redesign? How do you like that new lifelike eagle in flight? I would love to know what you think. And how about fractional silver? Are you guys stacking any of this? I wouldn't recommend stacking too much, but you know, it is kind of a fun thing to have on hand just for demonstration purposes. And you know, I was thinking the other day, one possible use case for fractional silver is the price of silver went up a lot. Like, let's say that silver and gold reached parity or something like that. Not very likely, but in a situation like that, you might actually find a use for something like a 1 gram silver bar. But outliers such as that aside, I think this stuff's a little bit impractical, but it is cool. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos about silver bullion and silver stacking and silver investing, then there will be some videos popping up on your screen right now that you can click on, so check those out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you all very much. I will catch you next time. Keep stacking. Smart Silver Stacker out.